So let's head right on in.
Or rather, Oregon, I believe it is.
Oregon, exactly. Yes, I got too excited. I'm ready for
It
border.
is a very
I really
exciting
wanted
match.
to go all the way.
Totally justifiable, man.
All right.
Don't stress it. Now, as you can see here, it is. Well, actually, as you probably can't see unless you speak Portuguese, it is going to be a basement defense.
Yes.
We're going to go downstairs. And that is the slightly more, I'd say, anchored site, obviously. It's the one down in the basement. The I don't know if you call it a stigma. The association of bottom floor holds on almost every map is we want to turtle. Now, that's not always the case. Oftentimes, teams will fake out a hold of the bottom floor and instead force out a roam. And that might be actually something that gets emphasized as you see Revolts playing Vigil. So yeah, there's definitely going to be a roam. Now, Vigil, I talked to a lot of North American pros, and they definitely feel like Vigil's a viable operator who will see play quite a lot of it. And I remember talking about the different regions and their preferences, and almost everyone I talked to was like, you know who I really think is going to play a bunch of Vigil? Latin America. Latin America is going to play Vigil. Lots and lots of Vigil. And I think they were right. Just right off the bat here, first round, already Vigil, whereas in North America and Europe, he's been kind of shunned.
Yeah, and it's always exciting seeing how different regions react to the new patch in a different way to the other.
Yeah.
Because NA has been trying this, EU a tiny bit, they're still kind of stuck in an old mindset where, and even I kind of agree with it, where Vigil is very situational, but this is what we want to see. Want to see teams trying to experiment with them. When we saw Chalet playing very well for NA in the past couple of days, this is the time as well to see him on Oregon this time around. So
he's already fallen back.
Yeah, he's not even going to be roaming, but this is kind of a different strategy. They might not be expecting him to stay on the site just because you have the drones that are coming around.
Possible.
All right, Spawns is prepping up the C4. He spots first drone and the second one. We'll be able to take them out. Both players in the back, and they realize that he's all on his own in the meeting hall here.
And
he's
still just managing to stall out a lot of time. The attack is not going to force out this push, but they will take out his teammate.
Oh,
That's
C4 thrown in! Oh my god. Nicely done from Spawns with the Jackal.
Beautiful.
Will get taken down. Now, Jackal would have been a great way to deal with that Virtual early on, but not going to be the case. Even spraying all the way through, dropping only one, can't get the second. Mega will get one, but will get dropped by GCR. So one up top, pretty low on HP, and the Thermite will get one. Here we go. Revolts and Spawns will clean up the last couple kills. That was extremely fast.
Yeah, absolutely. And it all came down to the attack trying to Whoa.
Whoa. All right.
So, you know, you have to remember that after you get the kill on if it's the last kill, it does stop you from shooting, but that was still a very impressive shot. But yes, what that round really came down to, for me, it seemed like the attack was trying to force out Meeting Hall just a little bit too much. If you're going to be going for a construction push, which it seemed like that was the plan there, then you don't necessarily have to control Meeting Hall. It's not essential. You just need to hold the flank. You need to hold tower. And they got a little bit ahead of themselves. They tried to force out a defense, and arguably, they should have won it. I mean, you have attic control, and you lose a fight to a bandit playing by tower doorway, but they still lost it.
The communication between the player in attic and the bandit below to throw the C4 at that perfect area, that was basically what gave them the advantage. Handed it back into the hands of Lanchonete.
And I'm definitely thinking that the one piece of barbed wire sacrifice really not feeling that bad in that situation. Now, we are seeing a blitz. This is very interesting. We are going to have Yuna gracing us with a blitz. I wonder how he's going to be played.
First Vigil, now blitz, and immediately just breaking the metagame.
Well, breaking the international metagame, maybe.
Yes.
A Latin American, maybe. More like defining it.
That is very much what Yuna's been known for, playing for so long, actually, on many, many professional teams, even back all the way in the day. So, what really interests me as well is how the Legion plays. I've been talking about this for way too long, but still adamant that Legion is somewhat underutilized for quite a few teams. They tend to use him as just, okay, now we know that there's one of the players that's rotating around, just basically to get information. But the teams that have really excelled and played him correctly are the ones that are always playing around his goo mines. There we go, Blitz going all the way in. Ella's gonna get dropped, and FK1 will get a headshot directly onto Midi. And Yuna's just eating those bullets. It goes all the way to the side of the hallway.
That's one way to defeat an Ella. And it's
Oh
going to be another sprint onto the Legion, who's trying to hold on for dear life, but gets quick-scoped by Yuna. Not even needing to use his flash there, clearly making good use of Blitz. And now MYP, who has already lost a round, finds themselves in a 2-on-5 with still 2 minutes almost left to go. This is not a very comfortable position, is it, Milos?
No, and indeed it is not. And on top, this can start really playing mind games with MYP very early on in the game. With round 1 and now round 2, this gets exponentially more difficult for MYP to understand what Lanchonete is going to do. Here we go. Throw that to C4, but he's going to get flashed before he clicks it. And Yuna, headshot yet again. And that's 3 players down. Can he go for the 4th? No. It's going to be Migs to take him out with barely any HP. He's just going to pull out the pulse here and just try to gauge the situation. But 4 players are trying to drop in, and these smokes have been thrown all the way down. He's trying to check for somebody coming down onto the site, but the glass is looking out. 1C4. He can delay it for just a bit, but the diffuser's already been set down all the way in the back, and GCR taps him immediately with the OTS. And that'll be the cleanup. Lanchonete just playing in a way that is extremely unpredictable.
I mean, unpredictable in that there's a Blitz charging right at your face. Run away!
Julio actually did that at the season finals in Brazil, in that grand final, remember, on Chalet, especially versus ENCE. But here, it's just like, so we don't care. We can play this.
They've played a Vigil now, Lanchonete, they played a Vigil now, and they've played a Blitz. And the conversation with those 2 operators is actually very similar. Now, I hear a lot of people talk about how, oh, Vigil's such a good fragging operator. You know, maybe he doesn't bring any utility, but we could still see him played in Pro League because of his fragging potential with those 2 excellent guns and the potential to outplay players if you use his ability correctly. And I wholeheartedly agree. I think he brings a lot of that. And Lanchonete harnessing that. And then it's the same thing with Blitz. You know, you'll hear oftentimes pro players talk about, especially on Twitter, they'll be like, "Oh, Blitz, Blitz, Blitz. You know, he's so overpowered. He just win fights. He's just an unfair operator." And you know, they're kind of right in a sense. But then he doesn't bring any utility, so a lot of teams will just not bring him. And you know, the community's left wondering why. Why don't we see this operator that you claim is so powerful? Why don't we see him played as often as you would expect? And I think Lanchonete there just now really bringing those powers and emphasizing them. That's a really interesting way of interpreting it too, and it is definitely the Latin American interpretation of the meta, as we were alluding to earlier.
Yeah, what I like as well is the setup. Because they're now defending all the way on the top floor, first floor basically, it allows them to use the smoke and the mirror as well to open up tiny killer holes all the way up top. This gives them perfect line of sight into specific hot zones basically on the ground floor, and that allows them to support their roamers from the top floor. So they're not only relying on, you know, the one player that's set below, in this case the Jaeger you see, FK1, but he's got a mirror wall facing directly into the hallway here, and Mega can't really seem to push him back.
Yeah, Mega's going to be challenging the angle into the hallway, and FK from above is going to hit that shot. That's what you'd expect, given that it is an angle designed for the defenders, by the defenders, but a refrag from Midi takes out FK1 as he exposes his head just a little bit too much. And MYP looking to control this kitchen. They have completely surrounded it. There are 2 defenders lingering, though.
Yeah, Midi just moving bit by bit here, looking at the kitchen. Probably here's the bandit all the way in the back here, and now they're going to be able to spot him with the drone, but they need to pinch this. They need to go directly onto them, not allowing the defenders any space to move. The mirror wall gives them just a bit of headway, but it's already been popped, and here we go. Habana will take down Yuna, so that is no more Mira on the top side. GCR revolts and spawns, last alive and revolts. Just trying to look through for maybe a lucky headshot here and there. Just give them a bit more space.
The one thing to take away for me from this match so far, we're only 3 rounds in, but almost every round has seen at least 3 or 4 kills in the first couple minutes. Now, Spawn's going to miss an opportunity onto the back of Jackal as he pushes his way towards Kitchen. Before getting one onto Midi, revolts from that hole in the floor, gonna take out another player onto Io. So it is going to be the defense rallying here in the last minute of the round, but still, Jason's and Mig with plenty of time. They only have to wait out a couple gas containers.
Mig's just waiting around, as you're saying, for the gas containers, but Jason looking for the jump. Spawn's immediately looking onto White Stairs and will be able to take down Migs. Jason last alive here, just looking Outside, just right below yellow stairs, spots his dead teammate there on the Jackal. I don't think he can do much versus an Ella, Bandit, and a Smoke, but he'll definitely try to delay as long as possible. They're trying to play mind games against him, but they know they hear exactly where he's at as he moves right below them. And the Bandit will try to go for the peek, does not spot him, and that'll be Habana to get the kill. Jason's still moving up of white stairs. Both players trying to set up the crossfire to take him out as he moves right onto A. Smoke has not moved up. Ella from behind will take him out, and GCR cleans this one up. Lanchonete for the 3rd round in a row.
Absolutely dominant victory there from Lanchonete. Honestly, though, it seemed in the early round, excuse me, I retract that statement. Not a dominant victory. It seemed like in the early round, MYP E-SPORTS had the advantage, but it slipped away because they failed to outright to hold any of the roaming that came back from the main lobby. So they took control over Kitchen. Great. They had man advantage. Fantastic. And then when the last 2 roamers who were playing inside of Kitchen started to make their way back from main lobby as they rotated downstairs all the way from tower, there was nobody holding the angle. Not one person.
But here's the thing. What do you do when you realize that the couple of roamers that were set in Kitchen have already retreated to the meeting room and galled all the way around?
I mean, one person holding the angle, man. One person holding the angle. You play in the hallway outside a kitchen doorway, right? You can get the long angle, or you can even play in classroom. There's plenty of cover there. You can get the long angle all the way that can cover the rotation from the closet as well as the main hall.
But this is exactly the reverse of what we saw, because at the end, we saw the. There was the Jaeger, no, the Bandit that was holding around the angle that rotated all the way from below, and then watching through the main hallway, spotted one player, wasn't able to take him out, only tagged him with 1 bullet, moved into the kitchen. You saw the Bandit pull all the way back up to the top stairs, where he remaneuvered and set himself on white stairs yet again.
Right, and the repositioning is all well and good, but there's ultimately there's a position you can play that unfortunately we just didn't see played by MYP E-SPORTS to hold those flanks. I mean, you can cut them off dead. There's no 3rd floor. There's 2 floors.
Oh, here we go.
Wow.
GCR standing all the way in the back of spawn, just waiting until
Not
somebody...
supposed to happen, Migs.
There we go. Mig's going to be the first one to fall, and that's the Mira, your basically last line of defense next to a reinforced wall. Midi will get 1 onto GCR. At least that is something, and that is even the glass taken out. Yuna still moving in. They're still relying on that blitz because it gives them a lot more mobility than a Montaigne, if you will. But he still can flash players. He can still go for that 1v1 fight.
Right.
A lot of 1v1 utility. But here's the way that you win this out. And Famas in the back will be able to save him. Unfortunately, it's going to be IO in the Valkyrie here. Will be able to get the kill on Yuna and clean up the blitz.
Now a 3-on-3. Continuation of the trend as we see it hits the 2-minute mark just a couple seconds prior, and it's a 3-on-3. It's far from normal, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, very much.
This
even the Val contesting here. That is very ballsy, to say the least.
This is not typical Siege what we're seeing. And the defense right now in MYP just trying to wait it out. I think that's the right call, all things considered. Down 3 rounds, you don't want to lose another one, maybe just hold the angle. And even holding the angle, they're playing very, very aggressively onto, well, those angles. There's a Valkyrie so close to that kitchen door, ready to peek around. And she is actually going to fall back even further, though, as I say that. All the way back to cafeteria. As we see Lanchonete reassessing their strategy. They're going to go over to the main master bedroom before opening up likely that closet and planting inside of generator. Now they have the utility to do this. They do have a Habana and they have enough time because again, all that action that we witnessed happened so very long ago in the very first couple minutes of the round.
Yeah, the interesting part is that now finally there's a setup starting to happen from the attackers. It took them this long until the 38 seconds left until something happens, and the Habana can't even say, here we go, goes in for the 1v1. Ayo will get shot down, and 3-2 advantage now. They realize there's only 2 players now left, and FK1 will get 1, spots the second as well through the hallway, and that's the Jackal spawns to clean up midi. I really don't understand what's going on with MYP. It's like they force themselves. They can't keep themselves from getting too aggressive in situations.
Yep.
They should definitely 100% not even challenge it.
So one of the easiest positions to hold as a defender in a disadvantage is top of white stairs and big kids dorms when you're trying to deal with a master push. I think you could 2v5 that easily, especially when you have a smoke. When you have a smoke, it is made oh so much easier because one gas canister and all of generator is somehow unusable for the attack. And what does that leave the attack? That leaves main hallway. So there is no good push in that situation. No matter how many men you have, no matter how much man advantage, you're gonna have a bad time. But unfortunately, MYP didn't use any of those advantages too well.
Yeah,
their advantage.
Add to that, they had a mirror wall, they had a side wall that was already open to throw those smoke canisters.
They had a flanker coming from main lobby.
Everything was in their hands, and unfortunately, it did not work out. These tiny mistakes, well, they're not really tiny, to be honest.
They're pretty huge.
They're pretty
We're on
huge
match
mistakes.
point right now,
yeah.
and it's barely even been a match. Let's talk about that too. These rounds are transpiring just inordinately fast. This is not Siege. This is something I'm not amazingly familiar with. It is very, very, very quick. And I like it. You know, it's exciting. Keeps you on your toes. Very interesting, definitely. But at the same time, it doesn't leave a lot for MYP, specifically at the disadvantage, to reevaluate and reassess and try to go at it in a different way. So they're going to be feeling quite a lot more pressure here. And I think it's going to be on Lanchonete to just not alleviate that pressure at all. Keep the foot on the gas, as it were.
Yeah, basically just keep MYP down as long as possible. And
Kick them while they're down.
Yeah, and this is very much something that'll affect the mindset of MYP coming into map number 2 if this is a 5-0. But standard setup is going to happen here as the Ash will open up the side. And really, for one of the first times ever, we see a normal setup push from the main hallway. There's nothing really unusual about this, but here we go. Mega will get kill number 1 in GCR. Not too sure why he was even peeking through that area.
Yeah, I mean, the mirror window had been opened up at that point, I believe, and GCR just looking for a fight. Now, I get it, you're playing Ella, but, and I get it, you're up 4 rounds to none, but maybe just wait. You know, don't make the same mistakes that MYP have been making this whole match, and wait. The rest of his teammates, luckily, though, are going to heed that advice, even if they can't hear it, and they are going to be playing nice and slow. Good on them to do that. Now, Smoke's going down in Meeting Hall door. That's a bit of a waste. You've got to imagine that was a miss. And as a result, Yuna's going to have enough line of sight to get a kill on what would have been the defuse planter. Unfortunately, because of a miss, it was not.
Yeah, and they, in my mind, I think they wanted to use that smoke to block off any players that are trying to push from the Meeting Hall, because they can't see where the setup is. You always want to smoke your opponents and not yourself. But drone's going to get thrown in by Ash, and Ash will get taken down. Nobody to support her there. FK1 with 1, and Yuna comes in for the second one on the Mira, leaving only Midi alive with barely any HP and the Meeting Hall solo, and Yuna will get the 3K to clean it all up. And here we go. Map 1 will go through a clean 5-0 to the side of Lanchonete.
The fastest match so far in the qualifiers, you think, Milos?
So far in officially broadcasted games, probably.
Yeah, definitely. I think if you look back at the timestamps, that was probably the fastest outright match we've had yet.
There's only one mistake.
What was that, 10 minutes? 15 minutes, maybe? No, seriously, because not only was that a 5-0, and I'm not trying to hate on MYP here, but not only was that a 5-0, that was also most of those rounds still having a minute 30 or more left in them. So that's crazy. That is absolutely crazy.
It's absolutely crazy, but then when you look at it and see the way that MYP were playing, where they overpeak every single time, you saw one single mistake in my mind that was done by Lanchonete, and that was the push from the Ella in the final round when they're up 4-0. And it's basically inconsequential. When you have the Ash that is sitting below, you're all ready to push, and there's only one player that dropped down, and that's the Habana of all people. That spells disaster. Number 2, the Ash is sitting all on her own on the stairs when you know there's at least one player that's sitting below.
My thing was really the smokes. On that last round, it's just the smokes. I mean, everything you said, but also the smokes. I get it. Maybe they're trying to deny the flank. You know what would do that better? Some guy with a gun staring at the flank. Seriously, that would do that much better. You only have so many smokes, and because you didn't use them to cover your advance, you lost your singular push. You lost your only... There's the Habana, like you said, who is trying to get that plant. Now, let's take a look at the highlights from that match. It did go by fast, but there were some excellent frags, especially from Yuna on that blitz. I mean, really making that operator seem powerful in his hands.
Yeah, honestly, the 3K at the end of this round, unfortunately couldn't get the 4K there, but does get shot down. And that was great pixel play. You're really, it's surprising. It's not really surprising, but getting to this level of aim and just understanding the game.
Oh, here it is.
Fantastic. This is again pixel perfect shot, immediate reactions. You see GCR picking one up, and this was an extremely awkward fight in the main hall early on. But honestly, I'm not sure. This is just, how did this even happen? And
why
then
did that Ash not see the mirror? And then there's the
you
Ash
have a
didn't
player
call
up
for
top,
the Thatcher.
but you still have a player for the Thatcher.
Who's
up
not
top.
calling for that Thatcher? Why is Ash not saying, hey, there's one pushing main stairs, and the Thatcher's just chilling, looking at the drop down?
And the
that
Thatcher
right there,
didn't even see anybody moving from the back of the wall.
That right there, ladies and gentlemen, is just simple miscommunication. No, not miscommunication. Lack of communication. That right there is a defeated morally team. Nothing else. I mean, unless maybe one of those players, and I've gone through this myself, maybe one of those players just can't happen to talk right now. It happens. Maybe the Ash can't use comms. No. Oh, literally cannot use comms. Maybe they don't have a mic.
We were talking about this a couple days ago.
It does happen. But in this situation, if that's going on, it's the sort of thing that justifies a rotation of the players. Really, I mean, you can't have that, and not at this level play, not anymore. No. So a lack of a call there, but that wasn't the end of the round. That wasn't the beginning of the end of the round even. The beginning of the end of the round was the lackluster push by Habana by herself with no smoke coverage.
No support at all.
And then there was the lack of the... If we're going to be focusing so much on the meeting hall and throwing smokes at meeting hall, may as well just take it, take meeting hall. They had a jackal, I believe.
They had a lot of time left there.
They had a lot of time. I mean,
the kitchen meeting hall wall was already blown up as well.
Yeah.
So you have every single option there. We can criticize for hours.
We're hitting too hard here on MYP. Ultimately, it was a bad match. It happens.
The important thing, is to recover from map 2.
Absolutely, and you're right. I mean, it could have been as well just MYP not liking Oregon. That does happen. That happens a lot. Very often here in Siege. We're going to be loading into the second map of this best of 3. It's going to be Consulate. We'll see if MYP can start to put up a fight against Lanchonete, or if this is going to be a 10-0.
Tank Ninjas is probably watching this. Tank Ninjas is probably watching this.
I mean, some people will remember that.
Too soon.
Some of you guys. Now, Garage going to be the defense here from Lanchonete, and it seems to be that both of these teams are preferring the bottom floor defenses on all of the maps they've gone to so far. Now, again, just a reminder, this is a best of 3. The top of the scoreboard there where you see the 3 little slits, that is not indicative of a best of 5. It's simply how it looks right now. Don't let the graphic fool you. Our third map will be Border. And for those of you just joining us, Oregon just transpired a 5-0 victory for Lanchonete over MYP.
Honestly, this is working out pretty well, but Lanchonete this time are just going for a pretty standard setup on the attacking side. MYP going for the castle here. No,
I like that castle. I mean, it's probably going to get sledged real fast.
Just a heads up, the teams are switched. Around. So on the we'll get production on top of that in just a second. But MYP are now trying to set up on this defense, and they even go for Yuna on the castle. And they're putting all the marbles on the ground floor in this sort of play. Yeah.
I mean, this is the fabled roam strat in middle floor, defending bottom floor. And it was, I think, it originated in the Latin American region, I want to say. It did see play in North America, but was quickly cycled out because it just doesn't often see success. Now, MYP is going to be addressing this in an not an odd fashion, no, a very typical fashion. They're going to be clearing from admin, and they will be contended directly by the defense of Lanchonete. Now, again, the top of those names, they're just a little bit backwards right now. We'll get on that.
Yep, Mega just opening up the bathroom here, trying to find maybe somebody is sitting right inside it here. maybe trying to well, spot a player in the white stairs in the back. Miri just peeking through the hall all top. And this is the thing, they're forced to take the fight all the way in the top floor before they move down. But here we go. Kill number 1 finally goes to the side of MYP at pretty much the 2-minute mark.
And that's the pinnacle of anti-roam in Jackal, going up against one of the greatest roamers of Ella and seeing success. It's a very good kill. It's got to help your morale, especially for MYP after coming off of that loss. FK1 is going to answer back, though, eliminating Mega. And now we have an even match. Will the momentum continue to cascade for Lanchonete, or will MYP be able to put up more of a fight? We saw an excellent match yesterday that went back and forth in Reckless and Era. I kind of want to see something similar here because I think it's possible. FK, though, going to take out Midi as he roams on the yellow stairs, and then another onto Io. What an impressive headshot there and hold overall. Now, the last 2 attackers are Jason's 13 and Mig.
Now, Jason's set right outside here. The flash is going to get thrown in, but already FK1's ready for him. Second flash going to get thrown as the Habana just bashes right on in. And here we go. Oh, no! What? Headshot from Jason, staking out FK1. A fight should not have gone this way at all.
Not supposed to happen.
There we go. Finally, it's going to get dropped by Yuna on the castle, but not going to get taken out just yet. Information is going to get relayed here on the positioning of Migs, and they will spot him out. And that is a perfect angle, even throwing the RGO nade right onto him there, but won't be able to take him out. Both players are spotted. They know where they're at. There's 30 seconds remaining, and they have to go all the way down to the bottom floor.
I want to say this has been the longest round we've seen so far in this matchup, as we have only 20 seconds now on the clock. And as Migs and Jason's are going to be pushing down. Well, actually, no, I guess just Migs, as Jason's is lingering upstairs with only 12 seconds. That is very risky business. And Revolt's going to get the headshot on Migs. Spawns takes out Jason's, and clearly splitting up in a 2 versus 3. Not the right call.
No, not at all. And, you know, you might be thinking, all right, maybe we can, you know, find some sort of weak spot to go through. But you would imagine...
Weak spot in the middle of the site?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, the only weak spot that I can think of, because I've seen this strategy so rarely, but you can kind of throw it out, an elevator drop from the main hall. And that's pretty much, because you still have the Habana. So technically, it's the only thing that you can do that might drop you into the site without having to deal with, like, the Alamine that's already been set up on the door. But even then, it's a long stretch.
Yeah, and more importantly, I mean, I don't think that MYP should be going for risky plays right now. That's the main thing to take away from me, is that was a bit of a risky play. Overall, the whole round was a risky play.
I mean, the Habana still pushed...
Right, but they lost so much manpower just clearing the roam. And that's dangerous. You can't be losing those fights. And more importantly, you lost it to one person on yellow stairs. That was... If I recall correctly, that was FK1 with an amazing roam on those yellow stairs playing Jaeger. And he almost actually killed out the Habana. I cannot believe that FK lost that fight onto the Habana. If I'm being honest, that really bamboozles me. But he did. Despite that, his team still managed to win. Now, Mig's going for a peek outside, it looks like. Or no, just trying to bait it out. That might actually waste a little bit of time, maybe. Not sure what the intention was there, but he will lay down the reinforcement and play it safe, rightfully so, as they are currently without a single round in this entire matchup.
Yeah, and speaking of, you know, maybe not playing it too out of the box, that was very much out of the box. I'm not too sure what they were trying to do.
They didn't risk anything, really. When he started reinforcing it, the prep phase had just ended. Yeah. So there's no way he was going to get shot, but did you really need to do that? Yeah. That's the question. All the same, again, a slow round being played here. Oregon, I guess, the fast map for these two teams, and Consulate quite the opposite, as Lanchonete effectively and efficiently drones out that main lobby. We're going to see FK1 start to pressure on into Piano once his teammates give the all clear. Very good teamwork here on Lanchonete.
Now, one thing I would have expected Lanchonete to, instead of going for Sludge on FK1, to go for a Buck.
Yeah, I completely agree. But I mean, they're both going to be useful here, considering you only have to open up a floor. Now, first kill of the round, Mega on 2 spawns. That was, I think, from above, I want to say. And he's gonna be refragged very quickly by FK1, who has been having an amazing match on Consulate thus far. Only a round in, he is getting frag after frag. So Mega getting the advantage and quickly losing it. I was getting a little bit too aggressive and not counting what he can achieve and trying to get more.
Yeah, this is the thing that, oh, here we go. This is perfect. So they use the sledge to open up in piano and just force the bandit to look up. And in the meantime, the Thermite Yuna was readied up to blow up the sidewall. So now it gives the Glass a perfect position to hold half of this entryway.
Very interesting that the sledge was able to do that to the bandit, and yet there is a Jaeger above sledge, like with a pre-opened hole. That is an impact grenade hole, I believe, probably from Mega. So a little bit of a misstep there from in terms of teamwork from MYP, but it's not going to matter in the end, I suppose, as the 2 panels have now been opened up in Garage.
Jason's going to get tagged to 50% HP there through the wall with the glass, and well, smokes are going to get thrown in, and Smoke is going to get spotted from above. FK1 still doing damage, even being so low on HP, and even tagged from before. They have to fall back for just a sec, pulling out the pistols even. And they will trade, Midi and FK1, killing one another in this fight. Migs will fall, and Ayo is the last man alive, but right before we see the glass falling, it's Yuna. They'll grab the final 2 kills. Honestly, I don't understand what's going on with MYP. This is mistake after the other. You saw the open hole for the Jaeger all the way up top, and still was not able to block
utilization whatsoever. Not one little bit, not an iota of using that hole that was predetermined to be used. That was the whole reason they opened it. You're right. You're absolutely right. That was a big misplay. It kind of feels like we're laying into MYP a little bit too much, but to be honest, this is a...
You're playing top-level Siege for the spot in the biggest event in the entire year. You have to be on point in every single time, and this is not what we're expecting.
And Lanchonete is making a lot of good plays. Don't get us wrong. Lanchonete is definitely earning these rounds, but a lot of the time it's because MYP is letting them step all over their defense, their attack, what have you, by simply overlooking not only things that they predetermined, no doubt inside of dry runs, they were going to do, but also things that just are basic fundamental components of Siege. MYP struggling now. Now, they're not a bad team. I've seen them play before. They have a lot of skill. This might be them being psyched out. It could be they're having a bad day. We all know that happens in Siege. But whatever the case, they need to find something soon, or Lanchonete's going to walk away with this without any serious sweat.
Yeah, I never thought I would be saying this, but it's interesting that we finally see an Echo. This
with
is the
shotgun.
Yeah, this is the first Echo, the second Echo we see in the past 3 days. Just because everybody's been busy trying out Vigil and seeing what he can do, that you don't really see him, able to do much anymore. Vigil, in my mind, would be a good replacement for Echo, but here we see Yuna still trying him out.
Vigil would be a good replacement for Echo, and within what context?
Within the context of, if you're not trying to basically delay that plant, you can just stop them outright planting by having the Vigil.
I guess
before
if you kill
even
them,
getting
fragging potential and all. GCR is going to get the first kill of this round onto Ayo. That's a nice entry there for MYP, but we've seen this from them before on the first round of this match, and they still managed to lose that round. So it could be just, unfortunately, not enough for MYP to win an actual round, but it's good. It's a streak of sunlight in an otherwise bleak day for MYP E-Sports right now.
And they're trying to get some more info on the Jaeger inside. Mega's just going to pick up his drone and maybe throw it out again. Just Jackal behind, holding off the back angle, always making sure there's nobody flanking them. And here we go, Midi will get a headshot straight on to FK1. And this is important now for Lanchonete to not get too aggressive and open up themselves to easy gunfights versus MYP.
Yeah, and maybe is a little bit of overconfidence from Lanchonete, and that's what's allowing that to happen. But either way, we do have MYP actually setting themselves up for that push into Projector. taken out the barbed wire. They've situated themselves inside of main reception. They have the information. Migs on the A balcony, and now they need but wait, lay down smokes, and go for a plant. There is a possibility of a C4 from below and an Echo drone or Yokai from Lanchonete, though, so the plant will likely be delayed for a good long time, and the more time that MYP spends wasting here, the less they will have to actually make that push.
Jonas ready with the Yokai, and he will relocate just to make sure. Here we go. First shot's going to go off as GCR trying to get all the way behind his opponents here. Will land the headshot. Unfortunately, though, for him, there's still a quick shot onto Yuna. GCR will get the second using Ella perfectly. Does not even need to reload here as he rushes for one more. Drops him on the floor and one from the outside. Unfortunately, Migs ready for him here and leaves it all onto Spawns and Revolts. Now, the Habana is down on the floor, but Migs is... You think that this is the best position that you can be in, but with Crossfire, this spot can get absolutely destroyed, but no, they peek only one. Revolts, though, goes in for the final kill and lands the second one to clean up the Habana and deactivate the diffuser. Finally, it's Lanchonete to get one more round on the board, even though MYP this time around, I think, did everything right.
Well, they did most things right. They certainly set themselves up perfectly. It looked like they hesitated a little too long, and they also got a little lucky. Well, no, they didn't get a little lucky. Excuse me. One of the first major mistakes from Lanchonete, if we can lay into them just a little bit, they do deserve it. C4s from below missing wholeheartedly. The Mute just not able to deny that plant inside of the corner. It could have been a much different round, not even in needing a retake from Lanchonete if he had simply hit his C4. He had the information from Valkyrie cams. He had the information from Yokai drones. Y'all heard them marks, but still, he did not hit that C4, and it allowed the plant to go down. But, you know, they still managed to win the round. So it is going to be a flawless match so far from Lanchonete, and it's only bleak hope still for MYP eSports as they go into a middle floor defense. Now, middle floor defense is a site that can aid you at times, it can work against you. It depends on how proficient each team is. Now, having talked to someone recently about this, actually, I was talking to Troy about it, and he was like, yeah, any team who plays on Consulate, if they let it get through the ban phase, they need to be competent enough to attack and defend that middle floor without question. Given how versatile the map is overall, and how any site can be defended, any site can be attacked. How do you feel about that, Milos? Do you agree? Because I happen to.
Yeah, very much. Because unless you make a very headstrong mistake of just pushing into one hallway,
like pushing the main door.
Yeah. Basically, unless you do that, then it is definitely possible for the attackers to just have multiple angles of protection. And here you see Revolts just setting up the Claymore, where possibly we might see a run out from MYP here, just making sure nobody's coming in. Now, Midi's getting, I want to say, pushing a bit beyond his scope of defense on the Legion. You'd usually see the Legion holding off yellow stairs and just making sure nobody peeks through there. But he's going around securing the entire area, making sure nobody flanking from the other side of the map.
GCR going to pick up the first frag of the round, and he has been doing excellent on Glaz in this match. He really seems to favor that operator, shooting those bananas very accurately with his heat scope. Now, that's not going to give them the round win already, but it's obviously going to put MYP in a position where they're thinking to themselves, we have to get even more passive, and that's not fun. You cannot get into that mentality when you're so far down. You need to play your game. You need to play your game, not what the other team is forcing you to do. And it just seems like MYP is unable of grasp or getting their hands on that mentality right now.
Well, just Revolts droning on in, Spawns as well. It seems like these, when we saw droning from MYP, a lot of times there was nobody supporting them, whereas the Lanchonete, they always have somebody behind. There's always multiple drones seeking out different areas just to make sure there's nobody going for their own flanks. And now you see the castle wall is going to get taken down by Revolts on the Habana, and we might see a quick run out. Here we go, gets the information, and here we go. Legion will take him out. Okay, just a second too late as he pulled out his phone out there to get info on the camera. Not the greatest spots to be in.
Now, GCR contesting the main door into the B bomb site. He's going to still have his smokes, I believe. Yes, he does. With only 40 seconds left to go, a 4-on-4, and MIDI has managed to maintain this top floor roam. FK is going to take out IO elsewhere on the main push from Yellow Stairs. And a nade is going to miss because Yuna's already gotten the kill onto Migs. The defense is swiftly falling apart with 24 seconds. Legion falls down, but GCR is ready. Jason gets a refrag onto FK, but he's got to find 3 more, and it's not going to happen. The pistol comes out from GCR, and that's all she wrote. Round number 4 going for Lanchonete, and one single round away from a 10-0 victory.
Yeah, I was not expecting this at all, I have to say.
Neither was I.
Yeah, even though Lanchonete have definitely the more experienced roster, I want to say, it is still not enough because we've seen a lot of teams, especially in the qualifiers in the past couple of days, that didn't have these standout players, yet still were able to make it all the way to the final. Mention Reckless, for example, going all the way there.
I mean, Reckless, we talked, I tried to bring it up earlier, but it was too action-packed. These two teams really going at it. I mean, the rounds are usually fast, especially on that earlier map. But, yeah, Reckless versus Era was an amazing match, definitely.
Highly recommend rewatching
Very
it for anybody
heated.
that did not catch it.
Yeah, definitely. I will second that opinion. If you haven't checked it out yet, definitely go watch that VOD. It was, I think, probably the best match we've had so far in the stream qualifiers, so it's worth a watch. But now, Lanchonete going on to the basement. At this point, it seems like they can do no wrong. If they were defending outside, I feel like they might be successful. If the bomb site somehow through an error spawned in the on the platform of the front door, it seems as if Lanchonete would still win that round somehow, because they're making mistakes. Don't get me wrong, Lanchonete they're making mistakes for sure. I mean, they allowed the defenders in that last round, for example, to reestablish control upstairs. That in MIDI, specifically the Legion, they allowed him to come up way too easily. There was nobody holding down the stairs of Visa, and he just kind of waltzed upstairs. He could have done a lot of damage. Unfortunately, MYP is making the more egregious mistakes in that, yeah, MIDI made it all the way upstairs. He didn't do anything with that. He didn't accomplish anything, ultimately, even given the opportunity. That's the problem for MYP E-SPORTS right now. And
the setup is correct.
Again,
the execution is faulty.
Well put, thank you. And but again, this is not MYP E-SPORTS being a bad team. It's just MYP E-SPORTS having a bad day. These guys, you know, they've played much better than this in the past. And here's some coordinated play from MYP. I like this. They're saying, all right, if we can't force out admin, maybe they're trying to hold it. Let's just come from Visa, go up those stairs, and look for the roamers we know to be on that top floor. And they have already managed to wiggle their way into Projector. So well done, but a whole minute is what is the time that has transpired here, and they're just now going to spot out the Jaeger as he falls down. Now, this is FK1. Last time he was on those stairs, he did a ton of work, but he's not going to let that happen again as he falls further back into Piano.
A very smart decision-making. A lot of players would have set themselves in even more complicated position that they might have spotted here behind. They know that there's the mirror wall in the bathroom. You really do expect that, but you don't really know what angle that you're going to be going for. But here we go, GCR getting kill number 1. It's IO that will fall. No more Sledge to play with, and definitely now cannot open those floorboards to soften up the defense all the way below.
We are going to see a refrag, though. Migs takes out GCR, the most experienced player, taking down one of the least. And we are going to have a 4-on-4 here, but you can tell Lanchonete clearly in the advantage positionally and when it comes to time. Again, a very slow round playing out on Consulate. Very different than what we were seeing on Oregon. Aggression, though, in towards the castle, who plays inside a bathroom. He just needs to stay alive for a couple more seconds, and he's already done his job, even if he doesn't get a kill here. And wow, a double kill here for MYP. Jason's onto Yuna, MIDI onto Spawns, and a third. Mega eliminates FK1. It seems like the first round that MYP has life, and it's all down to Revolts now in a 1-on-4. He is the sole player in a position to keep this as a 10-0.
Still has the C4 in hand, so if they all decide to jump in, this can go really, really bad here for MYP. Goes in for kill number 1. Still doable. Just needs to keep his calm. You see the Jackal coming in all the way around. Unfortunately here, MYP are dropping in one by one, but as he turns around, you see a FAMAS shot coming in from MIDI, and this means we actually have a round for MYP so far. They're not out just yet.
The fabled 10-0 narrowly being avoided there by MYP E-SPORTS, but I have to say it. Will it be enough? I really got a question. Is that going to be enough for MYP esports to start a comeback? Are they going to get 3 rounds in a row now, or 4 total, I suppose, and get overtime? I somehow doubt it.
Yeah.
From the performance they've been giving us today, despite the, again, that was a very impressive round from MYP. I love the way they handled it. I really do. They came in as a team in a Visa. They took upstairs control. Once the roamers fell back, they droned that out, determined that the roamers weren't there anymore, didn't waste any more time, started their push into the site, and they used the angles that Lanchonete gave to them. Thing is, though, again, Lanchonete's been doing that the whole match. They have been leaving those angles open. It's just that MYP is, for the first time ever, going to be utilizing them.
Like that bathroom area, it was just completely open every single time. They needed 3 players to push through there to finally force out 1 player out. And, you know, at that point, you can't really do anything. You already opened up the sidewall that usually protects you if you want to go for a drop and go down into the food court, basically, below. So, honestly, there's no way to survive that kind of situation. I don't think this is going to be enough for MYP, personally, because
I don't think anyone thinks that.
Yeah, but Lanchonete here is just going to look and say, all right, well, we understand we put ourselves with the setup in a bit of a complicated area. It took them a while, but MYP learned basically what we were doing. So now we just switch it up again, and it's going to take them 4 more rounds to understand what's going on. By that time, could have been already, you know, having a few drinks at the end of the round.
Right. Now, a very slow round so far. We're only 30 seconds in, so there's still plenty of time for it to get a little bit more accelerated. But Lanchonete taking their time. They, I think, are going to take MYP eSports a little bit more seriously after that round loss, because they were getting brash. They were making more mistakes, I suppose, than usual, and that is why they managed to lose a single round. So they're trying not to let that happen anymore. You can see GCR, he doesn't want to peek these windows until he knows there's somebody covering the run out from the south windows from Piano. Because as soon as he peeks and there's someone prepped for that run out, he will die. He's peeking onto the B bomb site, though, as he's just going to say, screw it, we need to use all the time we have. And he will light up Mega on that Ella.
Yeah, Yuna's just going to throw in a drone, and he will even escape a bit of fire. Maybe waiting for somebody to jump out and go for quick kills on him. But Mega's going to get spotted. Even the impact nade's going to get thrown out of the side just to give the Ella a more favorable position, very close and tight where the attackers cannot really shoot into her. And this is a really good spot by Jason's, just eyeing out with the shotgun. Direct one-taps in this spot.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like the Ash has any potential to... Wow, he is going to take out Mega, as Mega foolishly attempts to rotate up the wide end of the yellow stairs, but Yuna's going to eliminate Midi elsewhere, and Mega will be picked up because of the cover of the smoke. Last minute of the round, and another kill for Lanchonete.
And Meg's falling back, just trying to make sure that hall is going to get cleared. Yuna is going to drop all the way in with all of these smokes getting thrown. Mega still spraying through, but FK1 will win that one out as Mix will get shot down, leaving only 2 alive. Mega, though, will spray in at the Ella, takes 1, but GCR, the smoke is perfect for the glass here. He's going to get spotted, but not taken out here. Pulls out the shotgun, unfortunately. Spawns is ready for him. Will nail the headshot with the Ash. And ladies and gentlemen, Lanchonete clean it up with a 10-1 and advance to the grand final of the Latin American qualifiers for the Invitational.
Not only a 10-1, but one of the fastest matches I personally have seen in a good long time. Not only, again, it is 10-1, but it was also that first map on Oregon. Those rounds transpired extremely quickly. It was a 10-minute match, maybe, give or take a little bit of time.
This is Siege. It can take half an hour.
It could take much longer than half an hour. Yeah.
Without even getting into overtime.
Right.
It can take 35 to 40 minutes, including overtime. But it can also take less than 10 minutes to end with the way that we saw.
Yeah, and it all depends on the team's play.